Hi, everybody. Welcome to RAIN, the Rain Radio Talk Show, brought to you by Active Rain and Blog Talk Radio, making a difference one voice at a time. And now, here's your host, Brad Anderson.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Rain Radio. This is Active Brad from Active Rain. I'll be your host today. And we've got a special guest on the line with us, a few special guests, but I want to start off. Our topic today is going to be about Facebook. It's more than just an online place to show your face. It's a place to get a book of business. Joining us today is the one and only, I should say, Jay Thompson, the Phoenix real estate guy. Jay, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Brad. How are you?
Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for taking time. I know you're a busy guy, and man, I'm just so excited to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for being here.
Sure, thank you.
So we're going to talk about Facebook. I want to let everybody know who's listening. We're going to do some trivia today. It's the first time we've been able to give some stuff away on the show. Trivia is going to be about Active Rain and Facebook. And the way to play will be in the chat room, being hosted by our very own Elizabeth Nieves. Elizabeth, you there?
I'm here.
Great. So what we're going to do is throughout the show, we're going to be throwing out some trivia questions. If you're the first person to type in the right answer in the chat room, you'll be winning all kinds of prizes and great stuff today. So if you want to join the chat room, how do they do that, Elizabeth?
Well, we need to get them in there via they can go to your blog and get in there. There's a link, and I've also Twittered it. So for everybody who's got that, there's a link to go directly in there as well.
Boy, are we connected or what?
And we've got 35 people in the chat room already, and I'm shooting for 50.
Well, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, Jay, tell us. I know when we talked earlier, you've got a face in the book, and you've got quite a few friends on there. How are you using it in your real estate business?
That's a great question, Brad. Facebook is an interesting beast. A lot of people are under the impression that it's for college kids, and I think that impression comes because that's how Facebook started. Mark Zuckerberg started it in Harvard back in 2003 or 2004 to be like a social network for Harvard college kids, and it quickly spread throughout college communities all across the country. But a couple of years ago, Facebook opened up to the general public, and it has just gone crazy since then. It's depending on which stats you listen to or read. It's the third, fourth, or fifth most trafficked website on the planet. It's got like 130 million active users, and Facebook defines active users as somebody that logs in once a month. And that's a pretty startling number if you think about it, because there's so many social networks out there, and a lot of people will join a social network, they'll create a profile, and then they never go back to it.
Right.
They literally forget they're even on it. So the fact that there's 130 million people that are regularly logging into their Facebook account, that's a phenomenal number of people. So I can't even remember when I joined Facebook, shortly after it went open to the public. And I really wasn't sure what to do with it. And to be perfectly honest, I'm still not sure what to do with it from a business perspective. But you can't deny the power of being that close to 130 million people. Obviously, there's business applications for it. It's a networking tool, and real estate is a networking business. It's a numbers game. It's the size of your sphere of influence. It's the number of people you know, and people meaning both real estate consumers, buyers and sellers, and other real estate agents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you had mentioned in the beginning, and in the post I had written, I mentioned this as well. When I signed up on Facebook, my son goes to Cal Poly. He's about 3.5 to 4.5 hours away, depending on traffic. And I can't just pop down there. And what was really cool is, he's in college, and I get to see stuff that's going up, and pictures and events, and he's getting tagged and stuff by friends. And I don't know, it just seemed like another way to stay connected. And then, I started getting poked and smiled at and vampire bit and all that stuff. I thought, man, this is a real waste of time. And all of a sudden, things kind of turned around. I started finding friends from high school, grade school. The lady that works for Apple travels all over the country. I was in 7th grade with her, and she found me on Facebook. And you mentioned an interesting thing, that these are college students. So they have to be somewhat educated if they're going to college, which means they could be tomorrow's home buyer or seller, most likely buyer. But I think the key is that most of these students, like mine, I mean, I miss and love my son, so I'm on Facebook. So that means all of these college students, probably their parents are on there as well, and they're just as much a potential home buyer or seller as well, I think.
You betcha. And if you look at the statistics that Facebook puts out, their fastest growing demographic is the 25 and older crowd. And those are the people that buy and sell houses. So what started as a college phenomenon, once Facebook opened it to the general public, it just went crazy. So I'm 48 years old, okay, and I'm on it, and I don't have a kid in college yet.
I read a comment in the post that somebody's mother found them and said, nice hairdo. Yep. And she couldn't figure out for the life of her how mother found that out. Well, the brother had gone to the mom's house. She's 60 years old, the mom, and had shown her Facebook some recent photos of the daughter, and that was how she was able to know about this new hairstyle I guess one of our AR members had. But what's really interesting is that, as people are going on here, one of the things I think is missed by a lot is there's a lot of personal information. There's the what you're doing. And I have found, and even talking to some of my clients and people I coach and consult with, that there are people on there that are putting information on Facebook that are your clients, and it's stuff about them you would have never known.
Yep.
Your sellers, your buyers you've worked with over the past years, there's things they're putting up on Facebook that are about what they're doing or where they're at or things they like, and that's a lot of information you couldn't get from just your regular SOI, database.
Absolutely. It's a great way to connect with people that you know, like your buyer, your current buyers and sellers. And just the opposite, it's a great way for potential buyers and sellers to get to know stuff about you.
Sure.
I've got there's a Facebook application that picks up my blog's RSS feed and dumps it into Facebook. So anybody and I get a fairly good amount of traffic from that. I can go into my blog stats and see where people are coming from. And every day somebody comes from Facebook to my blog. So
you're feeding your blog into Facebook?
Correct.
So there's one application right there for people who are listening or asking that question. Yeah, it's a great social networking tool, but how do I get business from it, or at least start promoting business? That's one great way. If you can RSS feed your blog, wherever that blog may be, into Facebook, people see your content, they see what you're writing. I had gone down this morning, Jay, about 6 o'clock this morning, just to see what other avenues there were for business. And if you go into your Facebook profile, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see advertising. And there's a tiny little link that says advertising. And if you click on that link, I don't know if everybody knows this, but you can create your own page where you can market anything from your business, whether it's a short sale class, 10 tips on finding a good realtor in the community. You can post calendar events. There are a ton of ways you can promote business subtly, and it ends up showing up on the wall. So it's not like you're just sell. It's just another aspect of social networking and promoting your business.
Absolutely. And I don't pay for advertisement on Facebook. You can, and it's not expensive. But I've looked at it, and there are ways you can set up ads to target certain demographics. You can say, I want this ad displayed, because Facebook knows a lot about you. They know where you live, and they know how old you are. They know if you're male or female. So you could set up an ad that says, for me, for example, I live in the Phoenix area. I could create an ad on Facebook that says, I want to target this. I've got this blog post or an ebook or a report or whatever targeted towards first-time home buyers. So I could go into Facebook and I could set up an advertisement that says, show this ad to men and women age 25 to 35 in the Phoenix metro area. So I'm not paying for some guy in Florida or some guy in California unless I want to even see that advertisement. So it can be very focused and targeted ads, which is a really powerful thing.
Yeah, target marketing is really the way to go, especially in this market.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to throw out a trivia because we got Elizabeth almost hit her goal. I see 47, 46. We got quite a few people in the chat room.
We're doing great, Brad.
I can't even begin to follow it. But here's the first trivia question. This is going to be for 500 points. And so the first one to answer the this question, and Elizabeth will be tracking this very closely. We'll get 500 points on their Active Rain membership. And Blogging Bertha is the alternate ego of what popular AR blogger? 500 points. If you can tell us who Blogging Bertha.
We have a winner already.
Doesn't look like they spelled it right, but you know what? Let's give it to them. Tell them what they've won, Jay. No, I'm just kidding.
500 points, apparently.
So, it's funny because you're mentioning the advertising, and it is a minimal fee. And the page I just created on Facebook about, it's just a little app I created for, how to hit your goals. It's basically a goal planner. I put that up, and within literally an hour, I had already had somebody go in and purchase the program. Literally. So
I don't doubt it. Again, remember, there's 130 million people logging in and out of Active Rain. Well, maybe Active Rain too. 130 million people logging in and out of Facebook.
One day it'll be Active Rain. Yeah.
The other thing you can do, you talked about pages, and a lot of people don't. I don't think a lot of people know this about Facebook. I mean, most people that are on Facebook, they know, you've got your profile and your wall and all that kind of stuff. And I think most people are probably familiar that there's applications on Facebook, but I'm not sure if people understand that you can also create a page on Facebook. I created a page for my blog, Phoenix Real Estate Guy, and it's just got a link to it. I can go in there and I feed an RSS feed into that as well. And Facebook is a pain in the posterior to search on. There's no question about that. But the more you play around with Facebook search, the better you get at it. And people find this blog page, and it's a single page on Facebook that tells people about Phoenix Real Estate Guy. And that's another thing that drives traffic to my blog, and that's free. Doesn't cost you a nickel.
Yeah, I think that's the one I set up this morning. I clicked on advertising, and it said set up an ad or set up a page. I clicked on set up a page. Literally, it only took me about 10 minutes to throw up a logo, some text, an image. I even threw up some extra images just to check it out and see what. And it literally just took minutes to do, and it didn't cost me a penny. It was great.
Facebook is relatively easy to use. They just changed to a new interface, maybe a couple of months ago. It kind of has, myself included, people that have been using Facebook for a while. It's a little bit confusing to navigate around the new layout that they have. But it gets easier the more you use it. When Facebook first switched that layout, there was a big uproar. In fact, there's a group on Facebook that says, I want my old Facebook back or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But, get over it. The old one's not coming back. And just go in there and start navigating, because the way they have tabs and things set up now, once you get used to it, it's actually pretty easy to get around. The search, though, still sucks, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about SEO. SEO's, everybody raves about being number one on Google, and we all know it's just another, it's another tool. It's being number one on Google in every search doesn't mean you're necessarily going to do business with people, but it's nice to be on the top of those Google search engines when people are typing in keywords. I typed in my name this morning to see what would show up if anybody was looking for me and typed in my name, and I was shocked. My Facebook profile was on page one. It made it along with all the other places I'm socially connected. But Facebook was there, so there's definitely some SEO going on with it.
There is. I think it's a relatively new development. I don't believe that Facebook profile pages used to be indexed, but they definitely are now. And because Facebook is an authority site in the eyes of Google, your profile is going to rank pretty darn well. And on your profile, now the links that are on your profile are not followed, so Google spiders won't follow those links from a Facebook profile page to another site. But just the fact that your profile page is way up there in Google results for your name, and you can put text on your Facebook page that should also help you help get that. Let me back up a little bit. How many people are going to go to Google and search for Jay Thompson? Okay, not a whole lot. Although keep in mind that your sellers, in particularly, I know for a fact, sellers, after you go to a home, do a listing presentation, and you leave, there's a whole bunch of sellers that will then go to Google and Google your name to see what other people are saying about you, to check out what your web presence is, all that kind of stuff. So when you've got these potential sellers Googling your name and your Facebook profile comes up, and this is one, and I'll get into this a little bit later, one reason you want to be careful what you put on your Facebook page, because people do look at it. But on your Facebook page, you can have links to your website, your blog, your listing. You can put videos up there, so you can, however you want to do a video, whether it's a real estate show type of thing, a vendor-provided virtual tour, if you go out with a flip cam or whatever and shoot your own video of a home, you can upload those to Facebook. So it's just a way to get all that information out to people that are looking for you.
Now, you mentioned the no follow on the links on Facebook profiles, but maybe Google bots or doesn't index those links or follow them. But I'll tell you who does. That's the person that lands on the page. It might be the consumer or an old friend.
Absolutely.
So
and that's really important.
That's an excellent point.
And just the fact that you can put photos, videos, text, links, you can put tons and tons of information on your Facebook profile.
That's pretty powerful stuff. Let's do this. Before I do the next trivia question, the lines are just lit up. This is awesome. I'm going to take somebody here from, we're going to go to the 407 area code. They may just be listening, but we'll give them a chance to pipe in here. From the 407 area code, you're live on Rain Radio. Who is this?
Stephanie.
Stephanie who?
Cressel.
Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Did you have a question for us today, or you just want to pipe in with your thoughts on Facebook?
Well, I did have a question about the advertising on Facebook. One of you said that there was a way that you could actually set it up to target particular people and age groups. Mm-hmm. Is that a particular application?
Yes, if you go into Facebook to your profile, over on the right-hand side, you'll see different ads that are popping up, and there's a tiny little link that just says advertising. And if you click on that link, it'll bring you to a page with a couple of options. One is to create an ad campaign, and the other is to create a new page. The new page, of course, is free, but the ones that Jay was referring to are the ones that allow you, and it literally pulls up a screen with pull-downs where you can select specific demographics and geographics in certain areas and create a target market.
Wow, thank you. Okay.
And it's very cool because you can narrow down. You can do age ranges, locations, stuff like that, which is exactly what real estate people want to do.
Yes. There's a lot of applications. I'm just barely starting to get to know. So this is great. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's take somebody from the 646 area code. By the time 3 or 4 months from now, I'm going to know all these area codes, and I'll just be able to identify them.
You'll be a walking phone book, man.
So from it looks from the 646 area code. You're live on Rain Radio. Who's this? 646 area code. You're there. I can hear you. Must be just listening in.
They're shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Let's try somebody from 256. If you're listening in and you're in the 256 area code, you're live on Rain Radio. Who is this?
Elizabeth Cooper Golden from Huntsville, Alabama.
How are you, Elizabeth?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, thanks. I'm great. Loving this.
Now, do you want to share anything? You have a question, or you just want to give your 2 cents on Facebook?
I'm fairly new on Facebook, but it's been a great tool for me because I relocated from Nashville, and it's helping me stay connected with all my realtor friends there.
Awesome.
So when they have relos here, they'll think of me.
So are you subliminally talking about the 25% referral fee?
Oh, that's just an understood fee. No problem there.
I tell people that about Active Rain. What a sight to be connected with, industry professionals all over the country, if for no other reason than to connect with people so that when your sellers do move out of your area, out of state, out of county, you have somebody to refer them to that you know and have connected with.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a question for our guest, Jay Thompson?
Not really. I'm just listening. I've got a ton of questions.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a shot at winning some prizes right now.
Uh-oh.
I know I said I was going to go to the chat room, but since you're on the line. Now, did you just win the last one?
No.
Okay.
I missed it by like a second.
Here's the question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Start the timer, Jay.
Got it.
Who started Active Rain? 2 names for 500 points. Can you tell me who started Active Rain? 2 names.
Jonathan Washburn.
That's one.
Bob Stewart.
You were close. You were close. So let's go ahead and go to the...
Matt Heaton.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
No,
We're going to
I'm
give it to
cheating.
you.
No. I cheated. I got it off the chat room.
Start that room.
So it looks like Sally Cheeseman was the first one to type both names. So Elizabeth, if you could jot down Sally Cheeseman, she just
I got it.
500 points. Congratulations and aloha, Sally. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take you off the line there, dear. We got a lot of callers calling in, but thanks for calling in.
You're welcome.
Somebody said Bill Gates started Active Rain in the chat room.
Yeah,
he wishes.
I'm actually scrolling through here now looking for that.
He's not that smart. Can I go back to the ads real quick, Brad?
Yeah, please do, Jay.
Because I just started to create one just to see, because I couldn't remember exactly how much you could focus and target an ad. Mm-hmm. You can pick location, go all the way by everywhere, worldwide, U.S., by state or by city. You can pick male or female. You can select age ranges. You can you can select by education level, all
income?
College graduates.
Can you do by income there?
You can't, but you can do keywords, and you can do workplaces, and you can do whether they're single, engaged, married. You can do whether or not they're interested in men or women. I don't know why you would care about that. But so you can go in there and you could, so there's some big employers in the Phoenix area and probably in most other metro areas. Intel's a big employer here. US Air is a big employer here. So I could go in and create a landing page on a website or a blog for US Airways employees that are relocating to Phoenix. And then I could go into Facebook and create an ad, put US Airways as my workplace tag, so to speak, for my Facebook ad, and then only people that had told Facebook they worked at US Airways would even see that ad. So I don't have to pay for the guy in California that works for the state of California, because he's just never going to see it.
Is there any idea? You have any idea, Jay, what the cost is on that? Is it by impression, or is it just you pay for the ad to run?
It's by impression, is my understanding, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And I believe it's much like Google pay-per-click in that you set a budget. So you could set a daily budget, and it's not terribly expensive.
Well, it's advertising, and that's part of what we do in this business. So, Elizabeth, congratulations!
Yes, sir.
I see you hit your 50 mark in the chat room today.
I got up to 57 for 1 minute. We're back down to 55. So we were at 57.
Congratulations. You rock, girlfriend.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Oh, man. Okay, let's talk about a couple of other things. Facebook and business. What's the number one tip, Jay, you would give to people? Obviously you can't just go and create a profile and it's all about me, and sell, and I'm the best realtor in the country. What's the number one tip you feel would be the best approach to conducting business on Facebook, other than the advertising we talked about?
Right. I think it's really important. I don't care what social network you're talking about or what social media tool, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, anything like that, is you have to be transparent. And by transparent, I mean you have to be willing to, you don't have to go out there and you don't have to put in that your kids are 15 and 17 years old and that you got 2 dogs and 2 cats. But you have to be open and honest about who you are and what you do, but you cannot be pushy and salesy on these tools, particularly Facebook. That's not what people are looking for. People are looking to connect with a person, not connect necessarily with a realtor. Even if they're looking for a realtor, they still want to know who that person is that's the realtor. So if you go in there and create a Facebook page, and it's fine to put your logo on there. Mine's on there. It's fine to say you're a real estate salesperson or a realtor agent, whatever, broker, whatever you want to call yourself. But if every Facebook update that you make is, hey, I sold a house today, I'm going to a listing presentation, if it's all business, people are just going to shut down and they're not going to pay attention.
Now, isn't it like that on all social networks? I mean, pretty much Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Active Rain, all of them are pretty much the same rule applies, right?
Absolutely. LinkedIn may be the sole exception to that because it is business focused. I look at LinkedIn as almost like a online resume, but any other social network that's out there, you really need to just be yourself. That's the most important thing. And don't just shove real estate down people's throats. That's not what they're looking for when they come to Facebook.
All right. I would
that's
say
the biggest tip.
Well, that's a great tip, and I think it brings up a good point because a lot of people, I get a lot of questions about, well, there's hundreds of these. I mean, you got Academy, you got Plaxo, Skidoo. I personally, I think the top sites, at least that I'm active on, are, of course, Active Rain, but also LinkedIn because it's kind of like your online profile, and they're enhancing that site all the time.
Yep.
Twitter, definitely. Twitter is just a huge phenomenon. Facebook, obviously. Friend Feed is another, and then you have your bookmarking sites or your social networking bookmark like Delicious or Dig or Stumble Upon, and I think those are the big ones that the mass media, pretty much anybody and everybody, like you said, I mean 130 million people. You just got to be there.
I think you do need to be there. I don't know at this point in time. If you put up a Facebook profile today, don't expect the phone to ring tomorrow. Okay, it's just not going to work that way. But that's the same with any form of marketing and prospecting. Okay, there is no magic pill. There's nothing that's going to work instantly. But social media, which Facebook is a huge part of, it's really all about building your online presence over time. Okay, I love it when I get a client and I say, "How did you find us?" And they say, "We found you on the internet," because you're all over the internet. I've had clients tell me, every time I searched for something, your name kept popping up. So I figure either A, you do nothing but sit there and play on the internet all day, or B, you understand how to sell my home on the internet. And it's probably a combination of both of those things, because I do spend too much time on it. But you've got to build your social capital, for lack of a better term, slowly and over time. Don't expect instant results. I alluded to something earlier about you have to be careful what you put on your Facebook profile.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to scare people or anything, but there was a great story that happened. I think it was just last week. Barack Obama's chief speechwriter. The guy's going to be the main speechwriter for President Obama. He's 27 or 29 years old. He's a kid. But somebody posted a picture on Facebook of this guy at a party, and he's dancing with a cardboard cutout of Hillary Clinton. And there was a picture of him. One of his buddies is holding a beer up to Hillary's lips, and Obama's speechwriter has his hand, let's just say it's in a compromising area of the cardboard Hillary's body.
Gotcha.
That thing just went all over the mainstream media.
National
There's people
news.
calling for this guy to be fired. There's other people saying it's no big deal. He's a kid. He's at a party, whatever. But that shows you the power of this thing. Stick something on Facebook that's bad, and it can come back to bite you. Now I've got pictures of me at social gatherings. I've got pictures of me at some of the AR parties at Inman Connect or in AR Vegas.
But you're not running for the speechwriter for President Obama either.
That's true. And I think it's okay for people to see you at play, so to speak. To see you as a human being again, because it doesn't all have to be Jay Thompson in a suit. Well, you're never going to see that. But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't all have to be ultra professional.
The other thing I've noticed about Facebook is if I've taken a picture of you, I can put it up on Facebook, tag you, and all of a sudden a bunch of people start coming in and commenting.
Yep.
How do you prevent, let's say you don't like the picture. Let's say it was one where you just sneezed and somebody caught this really bizarre looking picture of you and then they posted on Facebook. Can you delete that, or do you have to go to that member and say, hey,
you have to. My understanding is you have to go to that person, but the good thing is you can't tag it unless you and I are Facebook friends. So we've already got that connection. So if Brad Anderson sticks a picture of me up from a party where I'm doing something stupid, not that I would ever do that, but were I to do something stupid at a party, and you posted a picture, I'd simply have to shoot you an email, call you, or whatever. Say, Brad, would you mind taking that down? And
for $20, that's
friends. Sure. So a complete stranger, some guy that's at the other end of the bar that just happens to snap a picture and says, "Ooh, I'm going to ruin this realtor's career." They can't do that because we're not connected.
Right. Now, tracking is another thing, and I hear this a lot. I call you, "Hey Jay, I wonder if you could help me find a home in Phoenix," and you say, "Well, how did you find me?" And I say, "Oh, I saw you on the internet." And then, it usually stops after the next question when you ask me, "Well, what page did you find me on the internet?" Well, my gosh, it could have been anywhere it could have been your Facebook, it could have been Active Rain, it could have been your PhoenixRealEstateGuy.com.
Yep.
Do you pursue that to determine exactly where that person found you, or do you let it go and move on to why they're calling you?
I usually let it go. In fact, I won't, if it's an initial contact from a prospect, I won't even ask them. Not until I engage in more of a client-agent relationship, to where I'm actually engaged with the person, will I start to try to find that out. Sometimes I'll ask on a phone call or something, but invariably the answer is the internet, or they say your website. I'm like, okay, well, is that Thompson'sRealty.com? Is it Phoenix Real Estate Guy? Is it Agritopia Real Estate? I mean, I've got several neighborhood-type blog sites and things like that. So when someone says your website, I don't even know what they're talking about. But I'm curious to know, because it would help me. It would be great if I knew exactly where everybody came from. I'll pursue it with a real client, a true client, if I can, but most of the time they just don't remember. Sometimes, though, people will say, "Oh, I found you on LinkedIn. I saw your Facebook profile. I was reading a post you wrote about the Canadian exchange rate." Some people get very specific, other people don't.
There's another site that really, and though people will from time to time search your name, if it's somebody you know, it's funny because one of the sites that comes up really high on my Google search for my name is a site called Names, NAYMZ.com, I think. And all I did is went in there and put in a real simple profile and a picture. I've done nothing there. But man, I was shocked that one came up, and I've actually had people contact me and say, "Yeah, I found your information on Names."
I try to do that with every single social networking site that comes by. I hear a lot, and I get questions all the time. How do you find time to do this? Well, to create a profile on most of these social media sites only takes 5 minutes. So if I hear about one, whether I come across it when I'm reading blogs or someone says something about it on Twitter, wherever, I'll go and I'll log into it and I'll create the profile. I'll add the picture, the link to the website, and then I forget about it. I walk away and rarely, if ever, come back. In fact, when I switched from being a Century 21 agent to opening our own brokerage, it was hell trying to go out there and find all those profiles so I could switch from Century 21 Aware Realty to Thompson's Realty. In fact, some of them still pop up. It's been 8 months since we opened our brokerage, maybe longer, and I'll still occasionally run across one that still says I'm with Century 21. But that's kind of my tactic for a lot of these social networks. There is no way that you can actively engage on every one of these things. There's just not enough hours in the day.
You have to pick the ones that work for you. And
you have to pick the ones that work. Crap. Firefox just crashed on me, and I lost my chat room and everything. The ones I choose to be actively engaged on, to me, it's a numbers game. If there's 130 million people using Facebook, and there's 20,000 people using joesnewsocialmedia.com site, well, I'll go create a profile on joesnewsocialmedia.com site, but I'll never go back.
Right.
But I will somewhat actively engage on Facebook. There's some cool Facebook things that you can do. Sometimes it almost feels like cheating. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a blog networks application that you can add on Facebook that'll pull in your blog's RSS feed. So every time I write a blog post, my Facebook page gets updated with that. So it almost looks like I'm busier on Facebook than I am.
You're just indicating, though.
Yeah. Now, I do tell people exercise caution because there's all kinds of things that you can hook to Facebook. And Twitter is one of them. You can set up a Facebook application, Twitter is what it's called, that'll pull in all your tweets, all your Twitter updates, and it'll make it look like, pull it into your Facebook status updates. I used to do that until somebody called me just a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, whenever it was, and said, "Dude, you are killing me because everything you say on Twitter," and I Twitter a lot, is showing up in my Facebook page. and they get notified of it and things like that. So I turned that particular feature off. Now, if I only use Twitter once or twice a day, then I might turn that on. Someone like me that spends far too much time on Twitter.
Speaking of active and how active you are on these different networks, I'm gonna throw out another trivia, and this is gonna be fun for the chat room because she just broke her new record. Elizabeth has 58 people in there.
Woo-hoo.
For the people in the chat room, if you can answer this, I'm gonna up the ante here from 500 to 750 points. It's a quick, easy question. Might be a little bit more of a difficult answer, but for 750 points in the chat room, who has the most points on Active Rain right now?
Come on, guys.
I'm looking. Oh, we got
Show
a
me
winner.
your stuff. We got a winner already. That was awesome.
And who's our winner?
Our winner is Lisa Heindel.
And so who is our most points on Active Rain? What person?
Lynn Harley.
Let's give Len Harley a plug. She was on Rain Radio a couple weeks ago and did everything copyright with her attorney, and it was awesome. So
it was a great show.
Congratulations. Let's throw out one more while we're on it. Another 750 points. Who has the post with the most? And that's...
Oh, I know. Where are my answers?
Who has the post with the most comments? For 750 points, we're watching the chat room. We
have a winner. Carolyn.
Herself. Congratulations, Carolyn. You just won 750 points. I'm trying to make notes here as I'm talking. Hey, Jay, let's take a caller.
Sure.
I've got somebody from... Let's see, that's you, Elizabeth. Let's go with 616. Did we take 616 already?
I don't think so.
We've got someone here from the 616 area code. Are you on the line with us?
Is that me?
That's you. Who's this?
This is Tammy.
Tammy, how are you?
Hi, Brad. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So what do you want to share today?
Okay, I have a question. I'm really finding out that when you create a group on Facebook, there is some really awesome potential there. How would you suggest getting other people in the community involved in Facebook? Because I started a group, and within 24 hours, I had 38 members, and I didn't know hardly any of them.
Wow. What was the group?
It was allaboutallendale.com, and I'm going to go for it and do a bunch of them in my area.
What do you think, Jay, promoting it?
What's that?
I was going to say, how do you promote it? How do you get that out there? Is it something you tweet about? You write a blog post about?
Well, I'm thinking, okay, Allendale is not, Grand Rapids, Michigan in general, they're not real up with the times. But I was thinking about offering a free class on how to do Facebook, because I think if the business people understood the potential of free advertising, they would go for it, which would make my group more active, which would make me more active because it's my group.
Yep. Good point. Groups are a very, very powerful tool on Facebook. There's something like 6 million existing groups on Facebook. The numbers on Facebook are just overwhelming, so you have to just kind of forget about that. But even though there's 6 million current groups on Facebook, there is always room for another one. And setting up local groups like that can be very, very powerful. A lot of it, I think, is going to depend on the size of the town that you're in. Obviously, me being in the Phoenix metro area, 5th biggest city in the country, there's going to be more Facebook users here than there are, say, in Podunk, Kentucky. No offense to anybody that's from Kentucky. You know what I'm saying, though? So one thing that you can do, I have found local businesses are incredibly receptive to anything that you can offer them that might help them in their marketing and advertising. And a lot of it is stepping away from the computer, getting out of the internet, and going and talking to people face to face. Go to beauty salons and the Subway shop and the auto parts store.
Well, actually, what I suggested is I wrote a blog on our local coffee shop, and I suggested that she give something away free if they print out the blog. And then I went to Facebook in the All About Allendale, and she was telling me that she she's got a ton of people all of a sudden bringing in these things, and she wanted to know what I did and how does she do it again.
Yep. So it's, fundamentally, just talking to these small business owners can bring great things to them, and it's just more exposure to you. Now, you're not going directly to the coffee shop lady and saying, "Let me buy or sell your house." At least, I hope you're not, because again,
No,
that's that pushy, salesy stuff. But if you help her and help her business, which is going to help your business in turn, who do you think Miss Coffee Shop owner is going to think about the next time she thinks about buying or selling a house, or her friends, or her customers? So making those relationships with the local small business people can have amazing results.
I think creating groups too that are, you really have to put some thought into the vision of that group and the focus of that group. A group like, avoiding foreclosure, and you're liable to get a lot of people you don't know that don't want to step up to the plate and say, "Hey, I'm in financial trouble, but I just found this group and there's information in here that could help me," and they might never be active. They may fly through that group and be in there in stealth mode. But, you can provide valuable content and information through these groups. I'm going to take another caller from the 718 area code. 718, you're on the air with Rain Radio. Who's this?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Who are you?
Very cool. Carolyn Sandstar, New York City.
Carolyn! Hey, don't you got to go get Noah?
Yeah. I was about to walk out the door and hang up. He said 718. I said, oh, my God, I can't hang up now.
Well, I was going to I didn't know who it was on the line, so I was going to offer you a shot at this next trivia, but you've already won today, dear.
I've won. So let it go to the chat room, okay, sweetie?
Okay, what's going on? What's your thoughts on Facebook? Anything you want to share with us? Or
oh my God, that place is phenomenal. Let me tell you, I've had people I haven't seen in years get in contact with me as third-party friends, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're in real estate? I thought you were like still on Rikers Island." I'm like, "No, I've been gone for 3 years." They're like, "Oh my God, you've been gone for 3 years?" I was like, "You didn't miss me?" They're like, "Well, you're always online and you're emailing and you're calling. It just never occurred to us to ask you where you were working at." So Facebook is pretty cool.
And see, there you've just grown your sphere of influence.
Exactly.
Just like that.
And it's funny because the people we know that know we're there, it's the people that we don't know that know we're there that could be, following us or finding us or just waiting for that right moment in time to say, "Hey, we have to move. My husband or wife just got relocated, and can you help us?"
Hey, here's a perfect example of that, Brad, and it's a real-life example for me. I graduated from high school. I think I already said how old I was, so it doesn't matter. I graduated from high school in 1979, and there were 78 people in my graduating class. So I went to a really small high school, and it was a high school on a military base, so it's a bunch of Army brats. So typically, after graduation, we all scattered to the four corners of the earth. I've really only been able to keep up with one guy, and that was my best friend in high school, but everybody else kind of drifted away. Well, I've now reconnected with 9 or 10 people through Facebook. And that 9 or 10 doesn't sound like a lot, but in a graduating class of 78, that's what, 10-15% of my graduating class I've reconnected with.
Wow.
Ran across somebody, this was just a couple of weeks ago, and they said, "Oh, you're an agent and you're in Phoenix." Well, you know what? I have a buddy in Phoenix that's looking to buy a house. Okay, she called him, and he called me.
Very
this
cool.
is a guy that I never would have connected with.
My favorite thing is my husband hasn't seen his high school friends in about 20 years. He's about to retire in a couple of days on a vacation, not going back to work. One of his high school girlfriends gave me an email about Facebook, about finding my profile because she knew about my profile. And the next thing I know, he's like talking to a friend from kindergarten. And I'm like, "You're kidding." So that's very, very cool.
It is very cool. And again, real estate, not to push real estate down to a numbers game, but that is what a lot of it is. And for every connection you make, don't forget that all those people have connections too. Just like my old friend in high school knew some guy in Phoenix that was ready to buy a house. Now, saying that, I don't think it makes business sense to go start a Facebook profile hoping that you connect with an old high school buddy that may have a friend in your area that's looking to buy a house. The odds aren't good with that. So you need to step into this thing, again, not expecting instant results, but just grow that spirit, grow that connection, and sooner or later, those things they do start to play out. Another example I've got for you is I've got a client, or had a client, or it's still sold them a house. I mean, they're still my client in my mind. Their preferred method of communication was Facebook. And I don't know that that's how they found me necessarily from the initial finding, but I know for a fact that guy paid attention to my Facebook profile. But he preferred to get notifications, and say like, hey, we found this house that you might be interested in. His preferred method of hearing that from me was through Facebook.
That's awesome.
So
hey, Carolyn, thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Carolyn.
You're very welcome. Have fun, guys, and I'll catch you later.
We are.
Cool.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is this brings us to the business side of it, and this is going to be a little trickier, so you're not going to see an answer pop up to this trivia question, so I'm going to up the ante one more time. This is for 1,000 points, and Elizabeth, we're going to throw in an Active Rain t-shirt with the 1,000 points.
Cool.
Who got their first listing on Facebook and was the first person to mention it in the comment section of the post that announced this show? Who got their first listing on Facebook and was the first person to mention it in the comments of the post that announced this show on Active Rain? And I'll give you a hint, that was a blog post I had written. And
That's
so we'll
a
give
tough
them
question, Brad.
It's a tough one, but hey, it's 1,000 points, man. That's like a week's worth of comments. That's like
That's
5
incredible.
calls. So we're watching the chat.
Oh, we have a winner. We have a winner.
But I don't see it.
Ginger.
Oh my gosh, she got it. So, yeah, it was
Ginger Sala.
Bill Gassett got his first listing off Facebook and just wrote that in the comments. I think he was one of the first few comments in the post I'd written announcing this show that he'd gotten that first listing right off of Facebook. So congratulations, that's awesome. Ginger, way to go. We got about 10 minutes left, Jay. What do you want to do? You want to take another caller? Anything else you wanted to, any points you wanted to hit on? I was going to mention that I was looking through, I get the Realtor magazine, and I was looking at March's issue of Realtor magazine, and the cover of it was, the whole Web 2.0 thing, but it was called Real Estate 2.0, and I even mentioned that there's a gal on here, Anne-Marie Clements. The caption says she joined social networking site Facebook and soon had referrals, and was pointing out that the major Real Estate 2.0 tools, and this is back in March this year, and you know how things have changed in the last few months, but she's saying that blogs, wikis, mashups, all the social networks and videos are truly the major Real Estate 2.0 tools. Would you agree with that?
I think that pretty much covers it. And again, I know this stuff can be very overwhelming, but there's so many of them that we were talking about earlier, so many that you can go in and just literally set them and forget them. Build a profile and just let it go.
Yeah.
But to actively engage in a few, and you need to pick your battles. There's some people that just hate Facebook, okay? There's a lot of crap there too, okay? There are hundreds of applications, and it's very addicting. You can go in there and you can play games in Facebook. You can throw sheep at each other. I've never really understood that, and all this super poking and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's a bit of a time sink. If you get sucked into that. But you don't have to do that. But you've got to have some kind, I think in this day and age, you've got to have some kind of social media presence. There are just too many people that this is one of their ways of life. I look at my kids are 15 and 17, and so I watch them a lot in how they interact in the things that they do on the internet, and it's completely different than the way I play with the internet. They're using chat rooms and Facebook and things like that to communicate with their friends. Okay, that's just the way it is. And yeah, they're only 15 and 17, but it's not going to be that long before they're looking to buy and sell a home.
And I think that's the text message generation. I have a 12, a 15, and a 22, or 16, and a 22-year-old, and they don't even use email. Everything's on their phones. It's all text message, and it's like Twitter to them is the social text messaging. But everything they do with their friends, their close friends, is all about text messaging.
Absolutely.
They have email addresses. I've sent my kids stuff in email. 3 days later, did you get the email? No, I don't check my email.
Yep, that's how my kids are too. And it's not just kids. I've made a lot of good connections with. Phoenix has a pretty broad broader than most people understand technology industry. There's a lot of really good, really geeky web developers and things like that here. And mostly through Twitter, I've met a lot of these guys in person. And, you know, I'm talking people that are 20 to 30 years old, in that 20 to 30 demographic. And they're exactly the same way. They're texting, they're Twittering, they're Facebooking. That's just the way they do business.
Now, is there a time, do you put, like, you know, you talk about these different networks. Some you can throw up a profile in 5 minutes. Of course, you run your own site, Jay. You've got, you know, just going to give you a little pitch here, a little plug is PhoenixRealEstateGuy.com. I know that's one of your popular sites. And, I mean, how much time, for those people listening and saying, okay, well, I spend 30 minutes a day on this, and I spend, it takes me an hour to write a good blog post. It takes me probably a total of 3 hours in the course of a day just to respond and check email. Is the day going to be taken over by this stuff? I mean, how do you manage your time with selling real estate and being socially connected and running your sites and your blogs?
That's a great question, and it's hard to answer because a lot of it is multitasking. I mean, I've always got, I use TweetDeck for Twitter. It's a Twitter client. It's always on my desktop, always. Facebook does not take a whole lot of time. I probably don't update it often enough, and by update I mean where you can go and type in what you're doing. You only have to do that. I think so people see that you're engaged, you probably only really need to do that a couple times a week, if that. And that takes 30 seconds. The blogging is a significant amount of time, but that's how we get 95% of our clients.
So is it safe to say that the time, whatever you put into it, you'll get back out?
I think you will. I really think you will. It's much like any other form of marketing and prospecting. The more you do it, and the more you're out there, then the better results that you can get. But if I had to add everything up together, I probably spend an hour a day blogging, and by that I mean both reading blog posts and writing. Fortunately, I write fairly quickly. I know it's really hard for a lot of people. But you also don't have to write a blog post every day. Right. 2-3 times a week is enough.
Sometimes it's good to let it sit out there and get some exposure and kind of get
Absolutely.
roots.
You know, there's blogs out there where some of the group blogs, whether they're real estate or technical or whatever, you look at a blog like Curbed.com, which is a big real estate blog in New York and San Francisco, they'll have 20 or 30 posts a day. I can't even read it anymore because it's just too much. It's overwhelming. TechCrunch and TechMeme, some of these other big technology blogs, 40, 50 blog updates a day. Too much for me.
I ended up using a Google Reader, and I've subscribed to quite a few, and it seems like it's always maxed at 350, and I just end up going through and really just, you know, kind of skimming over and looking at titles for anything that pops out at me. But man, what a streamline of information. It's truly like, you know, drinking out of the fire hydrant, all this information that's flying through the web from, you know, good, reliable, and trustworthy resources. I mean, I read your stuff, and there's great content out there, and if you can absorb it, it's like a sponge. There's only so much you can handle, but at least you're giving it that effort to, you know, to pull in as much information as you can. You can learn something new every day, whether it's Facebook or it's somebody's, you know, your blog or a group of blogs somewhere. Just to point out a little example, I want to give somebody a T-shirt right now. I've got a great T-shirt, Active Rain T-shirt, your personal real estate think tank. And I posted up a picture of Jonathan Washburn, our CEO for Active Rain, and I posted it on Facebook. And I said, whoever can give me the best caption for what John's doing in this picture, it's hilarious. So anybody listening, if you hear this after, go look at the picture, put in your caption, be creative, keep it clean, PG rated, and put in a caption. And on Christmas Day, we're going to have the Active Rain staff go through those captions, and then we're going to send this to John. I hope he's not listening right now. As a Christmas card. But we've got some great captions. You can just go to my Facebook profile. You'll see the picture of John Washburn, and we're going to give a T-shirt away. So I wanted to give a plug for that because it is on Facebook, and it's getting quite a bit of exposure and attention. And I also want, since we got 5 minutes left, I want to do a grand prize. So where's my signal? Oh, there it is. There's the rain.
I love it.
This is the grand prize for today's show, and it's going to be for 1,500 points, and we're going to throw in an Active Rain t-shirt. Okay, drum roll. You guys ready?
I'm ready, Brad.
With the grand prize, 1,500 points and an Active Rain t-shirt, who wrote the very first blog post on Active Rain? The very first post ever written on Active Rain. If you can answer that, you're going to get 1,500 points and a t-shirt. So we're watching the chat box, looking for callers. This is going to be a tough one.
This is a hard question. You did.
But I saved the best. It is a hard question.
You
did. I saved the best for last because.
But look what you're giving away.
Well, yeah, this is 2 weeks worth of blogging, and there's a lot of names coming through. Bill Gates again, Jay.
That guy's everywhere, isn't he?
I want to give a hint, but I just can't do it. This is just too many points, and the shirt's just too nice. So.
Well, we've got a lot of answers still coming. So let's see.
Let's let that roll, and then just pipe in when you see the answer.
Okay.
We've got 3 minutes left.
I want to bring up one other point real quick, Brad. I know we're about to run out of time, but you asked about time management. And there are tools out there that can make your time management easier for all of these things.
We have a winner.
Yep. All right, before we announce the winner.
Basically, if you go to Google and just Google Facebook applications, you're going to get a bunch of results, but you're going to eventually, near the top, if not the top, there'll be a Facebook page that lists applications. There's some things that you can do with Facebook that are really cool that can kind of pull a lot of these social networking things in together. I mean, I already mentioned that I have my blog RSS feed going to my Facebook profile, but there are Facebook feed readers. You can pull your LinkedIn contacts into Facebook. If you use Firefox as a browser, there's a Facebook toolbar that you can install on Firefox where you get updates right on the toolbar. So it goes back to that multitasking thing. If I want to go in and check friend feed and Facebook and LinkedIn and a lot of these other sites, I can just log into Facebook and through those applications see what's going on in all those other sites. Big time saver. Keeps you from having to log into all these other places. And a lot of these applications, they talk back and forth.
Right.
So I can, I can write something on Facebook.com to do something else in my other profile.
Kind of like the friend feed thing. Hey, Elizabeth, go ahead and tell us who won real quick on the answer to that.
We have a winner. Well, the answer. Let's give the answer.
The answer is our guest.
It's me.
It's Jay
Thompson. Jay Thompson.
He wrote the very first post on Active Rain, and that's why I was so excited and stoked to have him on part of this show today. Jay, you are the bomb, man. Thanks for being part of this, and the information you've given is just priceless. I hope, I know we had a lot of listeners, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of people listening to the podcast in the future, but I'm going to lose the air in about 1 minute, so I'm going to have to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for being on the show, buddy. I love you, man. You're beautiful, so don't ever change, okay?
Hey, don't worry about it, and I'll come back anytime. Real quick, if anybody's out there and has any questions, you can email me, and if you want my email address, it's really easy to find. So just Google it. Go to Facebook.
Google Jay Thompson. All right, guy. Hey, thanks, man.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everybody. Well, that wraps up another Rain Radio show. I'm Active Brad signing off. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you're catching this show later, I hope you'll find this information to be valuable. God bless. Have a great day.
You've been listening to RAIN, the Rain Radio Talk Show with Brad Anderson, brought to you by Active Rain and Blog Talk Radio. You can hear this and other archive shows at blogtalkradio.com/Rain Radio. If you'd like to be a guest on RAIN or have a topic suggestion, contact us at 707-718-6773. That's 707-718-6773. Or email Brad directly at brad@activerain.com. That's brad@activerain.com. Join us and our guests every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Call in with a question or just listen to the Rain Radio Talk Show, making a difference one voice at a time.